Welcome to the tip channel. That is perfection. Hello and welcome back to the tip channel. Today we're going to take a look at putting a G.F.C.I outlet in a bathroom. Now, I'm not here to discuss electrical code. I'm not going to talk about the theory of why you need a G.F.I outlet. I am not here today to impress you. I'm here to instruct you. So we're going to use what's referred to as the K.I.S.S factor. Keep it simple, stupid. The very first thing that we need to do is to shut off the power so that we can work on this. Now, we're not going to talk about fancy gadgets and what have you. Plug in a light, plug in a vacuum, go to your panel box, and determine which breaker shuts the power off here. While you're out there, pay attention to the breaker. It's either going to be marked 15 or it's going to be marked 20. 15 amps, 15 means good for 15 amps. 20 amps means it's good for 20 amps. Now, a 15 amp circuit is typically what you're going to find in a bathroom. In the kitchen area, it's more than likely going to be 20 amps because things in kitchens are going to pull more amps than what you're going to use in a bathroom. But anyways, the reason why I wanted you to pay attention to that 15 or 20 is because whenever you go to buy your breaker, that's the first thing that you're going to look at. It's going to be marked 15 or 20 on the amps. In regards to the G.F.C.I outlet, we can go on and on and on, but there's really three major types of outlets. There's going to be a normal outlet, then there's going to be marked one called TR. TR is tamper resistant, and that's if you have a small child in here that might stick something into there. The TR makes it difficult to stick something into the outlet. But keeping in mind as well, if you don't have any little ones around, the tamper resistant outlets are a little more difficult to plug something into. Then you'll also get into what is referred to as a WR. Now the WR is going to be used in like a location like a garage or an outside outlet. So if you're working on one of those, you would be looking at the one with a WR. So amperage is important. Number one, you do not want to take and put a 15 amp on a 20 amp circuit. You can do the opposite. You can buy a 20 amp outlet and put it on a 15 amp circuit. Now, we're not going to get into whether or not it has light indicating that it's tripped or not. We're not going to talk about arc fault. Again, we're here to talk about a G.F.C.I outlet. Now, whenever you look at the back of a G.F.C.I outlet, what you're going to find is you're going to find an area that is marked line, and you're also going to see an area marked load, okay? Think of it like this. You have electrical lines coming to your house to bring power, okay? So something that has a power wire, or what's referred to as a feed, is going to hook to the line area, okay? If you're working in, say, for instance, a kitchen, or in our case, we have an outlet, and if the wiring for the light is after that, that would be referred to as downstream. And we can protect that area with the wire that's going from our feed coming in to feeding our switch, and we would put that on what's referred to as the load side of the outlet. So the outlet would not only protect this area, but it would also protect everything downstream. Now, the outlet itself, what you're going to find is a brass screw. Your brass screw is your hot, and that would be your black wire. Your silver screw is your neutral, and that would be your white wire. Now, the green one is your bare wire. That's considered your ground. That's where that would go. Now, wiring, whenever you pull this apart, you might find a couple of different things. The most simple would be if there's only one wire coming into the box. So after you get the outlet in, look back in there and see how many wires are coming in. Now, what I mean by a single wire is this: one wire with a hot, which is black, a white, which is neutral, and a bare, that is ground. If that's all you have coming into your box, that makes it pretty simple. You just hook it up to the line side of the outlet, black on brass, white on chrome, and bare on the green screw, which is your ground. The second thing you may find inside of your box, you may see multiple wires coming in, but then all of the white wires go underneath of a wire nut, all the black wires are going underneath of a walnut, and then also your coppers are all under one wire nut. And then just 3 wires comes out to the outlet. In that case, that's what's referred to as a pigtail, meaning that all the wires were made up inside of the box and only 3 wires are coming out to the outlet. In that case, it's exactly the same as only having a single wire. You go to the line side of your outlet. A third case inside of your box is that you may see 2 wires going to the top terminals on the outlet and 2 wires going to the bottom terminal. Now, in that case, what you have is what is referred to as a feed in, feed out, meaning that you have power coming into the box, and then in our case, it might be that we have a feed out coming over to the switch. Okay, so if we have that scenario, now we need to figure out, okay, which one is our feed in and what is our feed out? So there's a couple ways of doing that. Number one is you could take and disconnect the 2 wires from the bottom of the outlet. Plug a light in, make sure they're not touching or not touching anything on the outlet, and go back and turn the breaker on. Now, if the light lights, that means that that's the feed side coming in. If it doesn't light, it means that the 2 wires you disconnected at the bottom is actually your feed coming in. Now, a second way of doing that, and again, I said we wouldn't get into fancy devices, but this is a device that you don't even have to touch a wire that's hot. Look how neat this is. You turn it on, and in our case, we know that that outlet is hot, okay, because it's blinking. Again, you can touch a wire, not have to worry about getting shocked. So that is a neat little device to have if you don't have that one. All right, so we've determined at this point what our feed is coming in and what is our feed going out. We know that our feed coming in, we're hooking the line, and when our feed going out is hooking the load. Or, as I mentioned, if there's only these 3 wires, just go to line. Okay, so next up, let's talk about the outlet itself. Now, if you buy an Eaton, and Eaton is a nice name brand, available at a lot of different lumber yards. It's also Levington, they make a good product. Anyways, if you purchase the Eaton brand, you'll notice that right in here is an area that you can put the wire into. So if you have that case scenario and you have a wire that's already turned around, you can actually straighten that wire out and put that right into that area. So you're going in straight and tightening it up. All right, the old school way is to take and bend the wire and put it around the screw. So first of all, you want to make a bend in the wire, and then this is going to slip right around the screw. Now, 2 things to pay attention to. Number 1, see this insulation? You don't want that insulation underneath of the screw. Second thing is that this screw is going to be turned in a clockwise direction. So you see how I have the wire facing? That wire needs to go in that direction. So it's getting tighter as I'm tightening that screw up. If you go opposite and you go like this, you'll find that as you tighten, what's happening is that wire's starting to come out from underneath of the screw. You don't want that. With our old outlet out, now we need to prepare our wires. And because they went into the rear of the outlet, I did have to snip them off. So we've got them cut off, and now we need to skin them. Now, if you're going to go into this area of the Eaton, which is just basically going straight in, you want to take about 1/2 inch of the insulation off. If you're going to wrap it around the screw, then you want to strip about 3/4 inch off. So in our case, we've got them stripped about 1/2 inch because I'm going to go into that straight location of the Eaton, and 1/2 inch won't allow a whole lot of bear to go in behind that, so you don't have to worry about other wires getting into it. So we had 1 wire coming out of the wall. And to recap, we're going to the line side, not the load, the line side. And we have the black wire, which is the hot on the brass. We have the white wire, which is the neutral on the chrome. And then we have the bare wire, which is the ground on the green. Now we're ready to go back in. At this point, we have everything back together. Now, you have the age-old question what everybody seems to argue about, ground hole down or ground hole up. I was always taught that the ground hole at the bottom, so that it is the very last thing that would unplug out of an outlet. I've talked to some electricians that do hospitals and they do it just the opposite. They put the ground up here at the top. Their reasoning for that is that if the plug is starting to come out and something comes down, you can see it would hit these two, creating perhaps an explosion if you were in an oxygen environment. So their case, they put the ground up so that if something comes down here, it's going to hit the ground leg. What's right? What's wrong? It's the age-old question everybody discusses and nobody comes up with a real answer. Anyways, I hope that you found this informative. And if you did, please like and subscribe and have a great day.
Gonna change that old outlet into a new G.F.C.I. Don't need a little electrician, just tip, channel, and I. In the room where we take a peek, it'll make this safe for you and me. I love when I can learn to do it by myself. Just watch the video, you could do it yourself. Step by step, we'll do it right. We will have the lights back on before it is night.